Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 176. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, government suppliers sign up to the prompt payment code, the rise in invoice discounting, and tax return information the lenders want to see. As we know, late payment continues to be a major problem for growing small businesses. No cash flow, inability to grow. The government is doing what it can to ensure that all UK businesses pay promptly. Well, the government has just announced that 32 of its largest suppliers have now signed up to the prompt payment code. Now, the prompt payment code, as I said, is a voluntary code where businesses can sign up and commit that they will pay invoices on time. Now, of those government supply companies that have signed up, the 32, they've committed to paying 95% of their invoices within 60 days. Now, why is this important for small businesses? Well, those 32 contractors to the government obviously will buy a lot of supplies from businesses further down the chain, many of who will be small businesses. The government estimates that those 32 suppliers make up about 40% of the government's overall procurement costs, so it's quite a significant jump. Naturally, the Federation of Small Businesses has congratulated the government and those firms for signing up and has pointed out that over 50,000 businesses per year, it's estimated, are killed off by late payment. So it is a big problem. So well done to the government and to those firms that have voluntarily signed up to that code. If you want to know more about the prompt payment code, just go along to their website, which is promptpaymentcode.org.uk. Following on from the previous segment about late payment, of course, one way that you can speed up your cash flow is to enter into an invoice discounting facility. Now, invoice discounting is whereby you can get cash today against an invoice where normally payment would not be expected for 30, 60, 90 days, depending on what your terms are. So it's cash now instead of waiting. Now, businesses are finding this as an increasingly popular source of finance, and the Asset-Based Finance Association has just reported that there's been a 14% increase year on year in the amount of business being done through invoice discounting. Now, interestingly, a third of the business being done through this product are for larger companies, those turning over more than £100 million. And the ABFA reported that there's been a 23% increase in the business being done from these size businesses. So you can see it's proving very popular with the larger businesses. Linking on to this, Market Invoice, which is an online invoice discounter, has also announced that it's doing record numbers as well. In June 2017, it said that it invoice discounted £64 million worth of invoices. And overall, year-on-year growth is 57% for the second quarter compared to the second quarter 2016. So you can see a big jump there. And so many more businesses have been interested in this form of finance. Why? Well, typically one previous and old-fashioned way of kind of bridging cash flow gaps was a bank overdraft facility. The bank overdrafts, they're still out there, but it's increasingly difficult to get new overdraft limits from banks. They just don't like the lack of control they have. And so invoice discounting is one option. If you want to know if invoice discounting can suit you and your business, just drop us an email, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll happily have a chat to see if we can speed up your cash flow. When it comes to applying for finance from banks or other lenders, many business owners get frustrated at the shopping list of information that these lenders want. Now, one piece of information that many businesses that we help raise finance for are a bit confused about as to, well, why does the lender want to see this, are the tax returns. Now, there are various different types of forms and returns that the banks and lenders like to see copies of. So I thought I'd give you an overview in order that you are prepared before going to a lender for finance, so you get everything prepared well in advance. Now, the first one that they'd like to see is called the SA100. Now, the SA100 is essentially the paper copy of the downloaded version of the information that you've put onto HMRC's portal. It's a summary of all of your income, the details of expenditure, your allowances, any bank interest. So it's quite a lengthy document, up to 12, 13 pages, depending on how much information you've put in there. So that's the first one, the SA100. The next one then that the banks will ask for is your SA302. Now your SA302 is essentially a summary of all the income and expenditures that you've got and the taxes that are payable. So it's a summary of the main return. The next one then is the tax year overview, and this is an even more condensed summary of the tax that you've got to pay. Now all of these are available on the gateway account that many business owners have personally set up with HMRC. So if you're doing your own tax return, you'll very quickly be able to see that you can download and print these documents yourself. For those of you who are working with accountants, well, your accountant can also get them as well. Now if you're not signed on to HMRC Gateway, you can ask for these documents by post, but obviously they take a little bit longer. So there we are, a quick overview of what you will need. Yes, it's a bit of a faff putting this all information all together, but it is something that banks are increasingly asking for. Here we are at the end of another bulletin, and as ever, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. It all helps. So thanks very much for being with me. Look forward to being with you next time. Have a great, successful and profitable week.